Hello and welcome to the review of our 2013 Formula One season. Not as exciting as last season, Tom. Vettel kind of run away with it this time around. But
it started off with promise, to be honest, with plenty of different winners, but the second half of the season, since the summer break, was really only one man in it.
Sure. We'll talk about the best highlights that we think this season has produced, and we'll start in at number 5. We'll start with an unheralded driver, if you like. I mean, people talk about all the big guns, but somebody who's come in as a rookie this season and finished every single race in the season. Yeah. Nobody's done that prior to him, so a fantastic achievement from none other than Max Chilton.
Yeah, he's done a great job. I mean, plugging away at the back, there's not really much you can do when you're in one of the most uncompetitive cars on the grid.
Yeah.
But to have that kind of consistency and the reliability to finish every race in your debut season as a rookie, it's fantastic.
Absolutely fantastic achievement, and long may he continue into Formula One. We don't know what's happening next season with him, but I'm hopeful he'll be able to continue to drive and maybe get a drive in a faster car one day.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows what he can do?
Okay, well then at number 4 we're going to touch upon all the races. We had 19 in the season, but we've picked out 5 of the best, I think, by different drivers. One of them we'll start with Kimi Räikkönen. He won the first race in Melbourne.
Yeah, I mean, that was really a race about strategy and managing the tyres, really. Because on the day he was plugging away in 3rd and 4th and so on, and no one really saw him until the end. You know, it was all pit stop strategy. It was a great start to the year, and it kind of gave us promise that we'd have an open season between all sorts of different cars. So it was a great race for all sorts of reasons.
And such a shame that we were let down. That was kind of a false promise to
to some degree, yeah.
Yeah. The second race we want to pick out is Nico Rosberg.
Yeah.
Nico Rosberg, his only win in the Mercedes this year was in.
It wasn't his only win, actually, but probably his best win in Monaco.
Okay, cool.
Obviously, a place that he knows well, grew up there, went to school there. Very emotional for him, and I think everybody down the pit lane really liked the fact that Rosberg was winning that race.
And not bad if you actually live there yourself as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just around the corner to get home.
Not bad at all. Okay, well, we'll pick out Vettel, because Vettel obviously has won the season. He's had several wins this season, but the one that we pick out is probably the one race he dominated the most was Singapore.
Yeah, definitely. It was, to be honest, it was a crushing victory.
Wasn't it?
Even with the safety car period, he just, ran off into the distance and no one could touch him.
Okay. What about Lewis Hamilton in Hungary? I mean, the Mercedes in that particular race looked unbeatable, didn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I think Hamilton had a little bit of luck in that Vettel got caught in traffic a few times. Notably against Jenson Button, Hamilton's ex-teammate, obviously. But to be fair, Hamilton put in a flawless performance in Hungary, a track that he loves, the Hungaroring, of course. And as I say, it probably flattered the Mercedes a little bit, but it was a well-deserved win. And his first win, obviously, for his new team.
Absolutely. And the 5th of those 5 drives, I'm going to pick out this one that we actually, I don't know if you remember this, but I was actually in Barcelona at the time.
Of course,
We predicted that none of them than our own Nando would win the race, and he didn't disappoint.
No, not at all. I mean, you give the guy a half-decent car and he'll get towards the front, and he's got that extra impetus of it being his home race, and he doesn't want to disappoint his fans. So, yeah, he's got that emotional backing behind him, and he just nailed it, really.
Absolutely. And we'll talk about, in place number 3, a bit more of like a low light, if you like, rather than a highlight, was the fact that the tyres failed in Silverstone and led to a complete change in the way that...
I think failed is a rather nice way of putting it, to be honest.
I don't want to be sued by it,
exploded is a better way. But it obviously caused a lot of issues in that particular race. Lewis Hamilton was leading at the time, and his tyre exploded. Massa had a spin because of a tyre failure, and there was a high-speed incident that almost took Alonso out on the Hangar Straight. So that race really highlighted some of the issues with the durability of the Pirelli tyres. An issue that Pirelli had throughout the year, really. And at that point, it really made them think that we need to fix this. Got all the teams to agree that something needs to be done on safety grounds.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, the new compound did change the order.
It changed the season completely, didn't it? I mean, a lot of the teams that suffered, Force India obviously, but Ferrari were largely affected, and that meant Alonso's challenge under the title was scuppered quite a bit.
Yeah, it certainly didn't help. I think Alonso's challenge did kind of wane a little bit for all sorts of reasons, but the tyres are definitely a big part of that, because the Ferrari just didn't really work with those tyres very well.
Okay, well then in at number 2 was a bit of entertainment, if you like, was the incident that happened between Webber and Vettel in Malaysia. Take us through it, Tom.
Well, Multi-21. Need I say any more? The guys have got history.
Teachers that say that.
Yeah, exactly. The guys have got history together. They've got great respect for each other on the track, I think, but off the track they're not the best of friends because of all sorts that's happened over the years. But we basically had a situation where Webber had earned the win in the team's eyes and his eyes, clearly. And the team had asked Seb to stick behind it in the Bay team orders after the last pit stop. Seb obviously had other ideas and caused one of the most controversial moments of the season.
Could have gone really, really wrong there if it had crashed into him,
Yeah.
taking him over, like what happened in Turkey.
Well, that's it, isn't it?
Yeah,
Formula One is a risky sport and there's a lot of money involved. Teams need those cars to come to the finish. And down that the pit straight in Malaysia, when Seb was making a move on Webber, they got very, very close.
They did.
So who knows? Another couple of inches could have gone completely the other way.
Well, respect is a good word because there is a healthy respect between the two drivers.
Yeah.
That was demonstrated right at the end when Vettel, did show that respect. Whether it's his last race in Formula One ever, gave him the chance to speak on the podium first. And that was a nice little touch, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think. Seb can be a little bit of a Marmite kind of character. He does have the likeable humour kind of side to him, and the boyish charm, as it were. And he does come across very well at times, but other times he does come across as the Darth Vader of Formula One in some ways. He's probably taking the mantle of Michael Schumacher in a lot of ways. So.
Well, that brings us on to point into our highlight number 1 of the season. He had a fantastic season this way, completely dominated, and finally clinched the championship with another race win in India. And he topped it up by doing some donuts on the grid in front of the main grandstand and bowed down to his car. That was a memorable moment.
It was. I mean, not the best of races, I think it's fair to say. But a great way to celebrate, and I don't think anyone's going to take that away from him. 4 World Championships in a row. But the irony of bowing down before his car, obviously the car had a lot to do with it. So there's still that question, is Seb really that good? Or in equal machinery, who would be the best?
We can't tell until he goes into another car, but you've got to give him credit. I mean, given what's in front of him, he's done fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, you can only use the tools that you've got at the end of the day, and if he's got the fastest car, you can't really blame him for making use of that. He'd be a madman if he didn't, to be fair. We'd all do the same. So, great season for Seb. Slightly not so much for the fans, but one for the history books.
Definitely.
In any case.
Wasn't that competitive, as Tom says, but at least we had our funny moments. My favourite one, I don't know about you, Tom, was Kimi Raikkonen and his radio messages, particularly in his last race for Lotus before he decided not to race the last 2 because of back operation. But what do you make of his personality when Grosjean tried to overtake him?
He's a colourful guy, isn't he? He doesn't always come across that way in the interviews, but away from the track, he's a party animal. He loves it.
We do love Kimi.
And what I think is great about Kimi is that he doesn't mince his words. He just says what he thinks and gets on with it.
Well, the good news for us is Kimi will be here next season, and he will be in a Ferrari with Alonso as his teammate. Looking forward to that.
Definitely. It should be an explosive combination, I think, at Ferrari next year.
We certainly hope, and I hope you've enjoyed our coverage this year. We've certainly enjoyed being on this channel. Please do follow us and like us if you do. Thank you.